Every single thing that we sort of plan, like me and my brother who runs this agency with me, it just comes to fruition and way quicker than we could have ever imagined, you know. And any sort of, I know I'm not a massive materialistic guy. I have a couple of things that I need, and like a good computer, good tech, things like that. I got myself a watch on the anniversary of the agency, because these are just little things that just remind you where you're going, where you're at. When you walk into a meeting and you have a nice watch and you're feeling good, it lifts you, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It lifts the energy. I don't want to be back when I had no money, like scraping, eating tuna. No. I want to go for a nice meal here. My girlfriend's over here now. She flew over a couple of weekends ago. So between me and Adam, we've actually both employed her. So
nice, like that.
That's what you get from this agency, and obviously the community that you've built also played a huge part in how I was able to do this.
Yeah.
Me and Adam met through your program.
Yeah.
And the tactics that we've both learned and what we put into place came from your program. So it's that is what's available, and it's kind of like this. Why not have it? Do you know what I mean? Why not go after it? Because it's like everything you do is hard, right? Whether you go to uni and get a degree, that's really hard. If you get up to go to your job every day, that's really hard. So it's like choose your hard. Building an agency is hard. No one's saying it's not, but you're going to put that effort somewhere. You may as well put it into something that aligns with your dreams and is like congruent with who you are. Do you know what I mean?
What's up guys, Jordan here. So today we are joined by Paul. Paul is a member of the Affluent Academy, the owner of Lifelike Media Marketing, and he's absolutely smashing it right now. Managed to, or unfortunately, lose the majority, if not all of their clients at the start of lockdown 1 with the pandemic, and recovered very quickly, scaled up to around 10K in 3 or 4 months after that, from March to August. So an exceptionally quick time to scale back up to 10K. Now hit their personal best of 15K a month. And I wanted to get Paul on today to talk about how he's managed to rebuild the agency so quickly. And of course, give all of you lovely people some hints and tips on how you can launch and build your agency or scale up from where you are right now. So firstly, Paul, thank you so much for being here today, mate.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. As you said, I want to give away as much tips as I can.
Nice. Love it, man.
Cheers.
Well, maybe we always like to start off with a bit of backstory. So maybe let's bring people up to speed. What is it that you were doing beforehand? What brought you up to launching an agency? How long have you kind of been in this game?
Well, my story in like entrepreneurship it goes way back to being a kid. Like I was the guy in school selling the sweets. I had like a little sweet shop operation going on even before like grammar school and that. So that I was always in me, if you know what I mean. And as I went through school, I very quickly realized that university wasn't my path. And I had all the support I needed from my parents to just not do that, despite like friends going to uni and things like that. So what I actually did was, as soon as school finished, I went to Canada and became a ski instructor, actually.
Oh, cool.
So I lived out in the mountains, did all that, that season air stuff, instructing skiing for about 6 months, met a ton of people, and life just started to unfold as it does when you're aligning yourself with your passions and things like that. So met a ton of people, lived with a bunch of Australians. That took me to Australia. I lived in Australia for a year, and then just continued to travel. Lived in Spain for about 4 months. And actually that was my passion at the time, just to travel. So I did that, 30 countries by the time I was 25, before coming back and realizing, okay, I have to build a life now. I can't just be a poor skinned backpacker living on tuna and bread. So like I said, I had this entrepreneurial streak, and like yourself, actually was in the events industry. So I had an events company with a pal, did all that, didn't really like it. It wasn't congruent with me, as I didn't like the late nights. I didn't love the drunk partying. It wasn't me. But took the skills I learned from building that company, using Instagram, using Facebook, creating video and photo content to go off and start marketing these venues that we worked with. And that was my intro to SMMA before I really knew what it was. We used social media to market for the venues, and in exchange they give us a few £100. And that was where it all started for me.
Great, that's cool that you came from a similar background, and I fully agree that the nightclub thing didn't align with me either. It's a very false lifestyle as well. I think a lot of people enjoy that because they feel like they're in the limelight in their local city and stuff. But the skills that you learn from having to deal with so many people and deal with so many different kinds of people as well, and promoting the clubs, it's so transferable with, and presumably as well with the traveling as well. You must have learned so much about communicating with different cultures and different kinds of people from 30 countries before the age of, did you say before the age of 25?
25, yeah.
That's huge.
So,
that's amazing.
I know, and that is true. Like the lessons, I say this still to this day, like the lessons I learned traveling far exceed what I could have ever learned going to university. I know, like you go to university, you meet new people, but it's a pocket of people. Wherever you go in the world, there's different people. Communicating, living, fending for yourself. Like I had no money when I was in Australia. I lived in a car with a couple of my mates for 3 days. So it was like that struggle as well. Teaches you a lot. And it was also on my traveling with all the long distance journeys was when I started to read books. And it was the books that really opened up my mind and sort of started to transform me into the person that I am today.
Yeah. And I suppose doing that traveling as well, even though you're doing it on a budget back then, it makes you, or gives you that desire, that burning desire that I don't want to be doing this on a budget anymore. I want to be able to do this for the rest of my life and be able to do it on the scale that I want to do it as well. And we'll come back to that shortly, because I know you're away at the moment as well, and you're a huge advocate of getting away. You managed to escape before the lockdown, and you've done that with other people within the digital marketing space as well, which is wicked, and you're just networking with those. And we'll come back to that. But I think what I'd really like to know, first of all, is what happened with the agency then? So you lockdown hit and you lost the majority of your clients come March last year. Why did that happen, and how did you recover from that and scale back up?
So it happened because the clients were fearful of the conditions, right? So I remember we just built this kind of cool office in my dad's house, and my brother was starting to come in and work for us more and more. We thought we were hitting a wee bit of momentum, and then lockdown happened, and I remember 2 calls on the same day from clients just being like, we don't have any money, our business is closed, we're not doing your services. And one of these clients actually owed us 2 outstanding invoices, and they've refused to pay it still to this day. And another client was a bit more understanding. They're in the dental niche, so they had a little bit more cash flow. What they actually did was they paid us 50% in advance, because in order to say, like, we promise we'll come back to you, but we just don't need marketing. Nobody knows what's going on. And at that time we had 3 retainers. So we lost 2, we kept 1 on a half, and we also did a lot of media. So we had no business coming in through media at all. And it became actually quite a scary situation. My brother ended up having to go, we just pulled him out of a job in a restaurant just then. Yeah. And he ended up having to go straight back into another job in a sausage factory. And I was trying to think of something to do to make money. We bought actually 2,000 masks. I was going to go into the mask dealing business. We were coming up with all these like drop shipping ideas. We created a jumper called Quarantine Queen and tried to flog that on the internet, like all these different little schemes. And what it actually was in the end that got us back up and running was we just started putting out serious value, like tons of information about how the lockdown is an opportunity. I could feel it was. I just didn't know exactly what the opportunity was, but we started putting out on our Instagram, which was still quite fresh at the time, talking about Facebook ads, talking about it being a free platform to speak to your audience, to keep your audience updated, all these things. Every day we were posting, and we started to get a little bit of traction. And actually within 2 weeks, it's just about 2 weeks, we had our first client come back in. And we started to build appointments for them for when lockdown finished. And then we realized we were onto something. So that set off this whole sort of train of, I started doing like videos on my Insta, giving as much, like just giving away the secrets. Do you know what I mean? Because my sort of theory, what I realized was people, they can learn it anywhere. So they may as well hear it all from me. And then when it comes to them executing, they'll come to our team to do it for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is another tip for anyone out there who's starting. We actually got plugged into the Facebook groups, the local Facebook groups, like the local businesses. And I was just giving value, answering everyone's questions that was my day job. I was just answering questions based on what I knew. And then I ended up doing a webinar actually. So we did a live build out of a Facebook ad. So everyone, if you want to know how to build a Facebook ad, jump in. It's completely free. Like I'm going to do it right there. Everyone can watch. We had 112 people sign up.
Is this
an email list
from the local Facebook groups and stuff, and from your Instagram?
Yeah. From the local Facebook groups. And I slowly just started carving myself as like an industry leader, even though but little did they know I actually had no clients. Like I was nearly down and out, but I had the knowledge and I knew what to do, and I had past results, which I was able to show as well. And I was giving these guys such value, and then it just started the little momentum train of clients coming to us. And it was pretty much all inbound from there, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's so key. Like people, I always say to people that, and so many people are afraid, like on their brands, to give away too much for free. And the perception of someone else is like, okay, they're looking at this and they're like, if this guy's teaching me this for free, what is he going to give me for money? Like if he's going to give me that for nothing, what's he going to give me when I pay him? And so you always should over deliver on value for anyone listening to this. The Facebook group thing is such a big one. That's like, and it's something that not a lot of people do, like local Facebook groups. One of the big things that helped me out, which I never really push on, is I joined a few networking groups in the local area with smaller businesses as well. And that really helped me because I actually used to go to a networking group with one of the restaurant owners who was my first ever client. I used to go with her, and she would then introduce me to other business owners at that networking group. And then they'd just follow me on social, or they'd take my number or my business card. And over time, they just realized that I was this expert within the area. And you'd get so many inbound inquiries through, which were already warm because you've already had that initial contact. So a Facebook group is a virtual networking event, isn't it? So
100%. And you spoke about it before, about the snowball effect.
Yeah.
Do you remember? That is so true. Like that happens, and you just need to get the ball rolling. And the law of momentum, which is a real law, like it just takes over. It's like, was it a BNI or something that you went to?
What, sorry?
BNI, do you have those? BNI?
No, it's actually called the Avocado Club, which is just some local guy, like some local business owner just started it up, and he just it's like a brunch club basically.
Yeah, so I went to a couple of BNIs, which is probably similar, as a guest, and I think there's 4 chapters, and this is really good for anyone else starting out. You can go as a guest. So I went to a guest as all 4 of those chapters in my local area. And you get an opportunity to stand up and introduce yourself, and every single person will stand up and go, my name is Paul, I own a digital marketing agency, I can do this for you, and I can do that, I can make you loads of money. But what I actually did was I stood up and I said, you may not know how to do this on Instagram, but if everyone just takes out their phone and looks at Instagram, you can see your insights. And I just taught people how to use Instagram insights.
Okay.
And I promise you, not one person, all business owners understood what their actual insights were. They didn't know what Instagram really was or how beneficial it was. So instead of giving them a pitch as a guest, I just taught them something, and I didn't sign up to any of those BNIs, but I actually got clients from all of them.
Nice.
And one of them quite recently, we did a video for him and stuff, and he's dropped us a really awesome testimonial. And that was just from going and just giving them to us as marketers in the social game, it's just nothing. It's an Instagram insight, but to them it was like, oh my goodness, that's this.
Yeah, well, you just literally, it's like what we always say, like if you're one step ahead of someone else, you can be an expert in someone else's eyes. Like
Exactly.
you only literally need to be one step further ahead. So whilst some people listening to this will be like Instagram insights, that's not like, you don't even contemplate the fact that to other people, Instagram insights is something they don't even fathom. They don't understand or know that's even there. And so did you back up this or did you reinforce this kind of value giving and inbound inquiries with outbound, or did you just pretty much get everything inbound?
I did try outbound. I wasn't very good at it at the start, but I am now. But back then I wasn't. Back then my outbound was going out and just trying to throw value at people. Being like, did you know this? Like, have you tried this? Or and they were like, oh no, what's that? You know, and they just hit me up and a conversation happened, and then I was able to get them on a call, close them on a 3-month deal, and 3 months, like we're making the money. We don't have any contracts in our agency actually, and that's one of the ways I close them. I'm like, listen, we have no contracts. If we're not making you money, you're absolutely free to walk away. Like if we're not making you money, I wouldn't want to be the guy who's going, oh no, you're in a contract, so you have to stay. And they really relate to that. I'm like, oh no, that's fair enough. And then I obviously say, like, if we are making you money, then you know you're going to want to kick around because it's extra revenue stream.
Yeah.
And they love that. It seems to work really well. Mm-hmm. And like we'll stick by it. You know, we have had clients leave us. Sometimes we've been a victim of our own success. We grew a company so quickly that they end up getting investors, and investors came on and demanded that they use a specific digital agency which covers everything from digital PR to Google. Do you know what I mean? So we actually end up losing that client, but you know, he's still a friend. We do photos and stuff for him, but
that's cool. But I suppose the only negative thing that can come off of not having a contract, and it probably the pros probably outweigh the cons. But one negative thing, I suppose, is, for example, when you had in lockdown, when the client couldn't afford or didn't want to pay those invoices, you then kind of really didn't have any backbone to say, or legal backing to say that you kind of need to pay that invoice. You can't really then chase them. Actually,
then we did have contracts because that was like the old strategy, and it didn't matter. Like we're still like, I'm about to small claims this guy. Do you know what I mean? He rightfully owes his money. He can't get out of paying it. So that's going to be another process. But I don't want to, like, we're in a good bit of growth momentum. I don't want to take that kind of energy into this.
No, that's important. You need to pick your battles, don't you? And I think a lot of people have that. Like, I've seen people ask in the group before, and it's a very rare thing for anybody who's wondering. It's very rare that clients refuse to pay an invoice. It's normally down to bad service or the fact that they're going bankrupt or something. And it doesn't happen a lot. Actually, it happened to us relatively recently. And when it happened, you really do have to just consider, okay, what is this worth to me? Is it worth £1,000 or £2,000, or is the stress of everything? Like, does that stress outweigh the financial benefit? Because it is stressful having to deal with that. It does bog you down. The energy isn't good. And so you're much better off spending the time that you would spend on claiming that money back onto getting a new client.
Yeah, I agree. And I didn't want to like scare people and be like, when you get into this industry, people don't pay their invoice. That's the only time that's ever happened. And actually all of my like sort of self-employed business career, even when we were back selling videos and things like that, like, this is the only occasion. So I kind of don't want to have it as a mark in a way, like the competitiveness, but like you're saying, pick your battles, 100%. Keep your energy good, keep your frequency good around you. And you don't want people, I'd almost pay that money to not have people like that near us, and sort of kill our flow.
So you kind of come full circle now. You started off as a traveler, you went through the agency, built that up, and now you're away again and you're kind of doing the travel thing. So how has that process changed? Has it been as exciting or as fulfilling as you wanted it to be when you kind of dreamt back then of traveling about, having an agency, having a business which allows you to have the money to rent a car if you wanted to, not have to chip in with your mates, and then also being able to meet other people who are in the digital marketing space as well? I know you were seeing, for example, Adam, owner of Powered Media, who's another member of the Academy, and you were away with him not too long ago. So how has that been? Where are you at the minute? What's the score with the travel thing? Are you planning to do that long term? Give us a lowdown on that.
Yeah, shout out Adam. So in Northern Ireland, they were announcing another lockdown. It was coming in at like 8 p.m. So me and my brother right there and then booked a flight from Dublin. And that night, actually, we drove straight to Dublin, stayed in a hotel, and got a flight the next morning because we feared we wouldn't be able to cross the border. So we just packed the weekend bag, met up with Adam. He put us up for a week, and we sort of decided, right, we're not going to be back home for lockdown. We need things like the gym. We want nice restaurants, and Marbella is open at the minute. So having the flexibility of an agency allowed us to do that, which was so amazing. And yeah, so right now I'm in Portabanus. I'm about 2 doors up from Adam, and I know some of the other boys, Jay and that, are going to. So I was doorbell there.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't worry about that.
Jay and those boys are going to Dubai right now, so that's what the agency life gives you.
Yeah.
And that is what I want. Yeah. I want to be in a position where I'm in a nice apartment, like the harbor's right there. We see beautiful yachts and jet skis. There's like, if you jump onto my Instagram every day, I'm taking photos of like Lambos and Ferraris and these beautiful cars, and because it increases your frequency. Do you know what I mean? Surround yourself with those things. That's what I want. Someday I have a dream car in my mind. I have a dream lifestyle, and I'm sort of surrounding myself with that.
Yeah, you're manifesting that.
Absolutely, Matt. Like every single thing that we sort of plan, like me and my brother who runs this agency with me, it just comes to fruition and way quicker than we could have ever imagined, And any sort of, I know I'm not a massive materialistic guy. I have a couple of things that I need, and like a good computer, good tech, things like that. I got myself a watch on the anniversary of the agency, because these are just little things that just remind you where you're going, where you're at. When you walk into a meeting and you have a nice watch and you're feeling good, it lifts you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It lifts the energy. I don't want to be back when I had no money, like scraping, eating tuna. I want to go for a nice meal here. My girlfriend's over here now. She flew over a couple of weekends ago. So between me and Adam, we've actually both employed her. So
nice, like that.
That's what you get from this agency, and obviously the community that you've built also played a huge part in how I was able to do this.
Yeah.
Me and Adam met through your program.
Yeah.
And the tactics that we've both learned and what we've put into place came from your program. So it's that is what's available. And it's kind of like this. Why not have it? Do you know what I mean? Why not go after it? Because it's like everything you do is hard, right? Whether you go to uni and get a degree, that's really hard. If you get up to go to your job every day, that's really hard. So it's like, choose your hard. Building an agency is hard. No one's saying it's not, but you're going to put that effort somewhere. You may as well put it into something that aligns with your dreams and is like congruent with who you are. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I couldn't agree more, man. And it's incredible that you haven't, because a lot of people, I think as well, when they're doing this kind of thing, they work on the business, that sometimes get caught up in the business as well. And it's very easy to then get so obsessed with the progression and so obsessed with the next steps that you forget to, like, for example, book a last minute flight and go away. Like I've been doing that a lot recently, and at the moment it's one of the first times in a long time that I felt very relaxed within the business, because it's been what's the next business, what's the next sales avenue, what's the next ad, what's this, and it's just this non-step cycle of continually growing. But then sometimes you look back and you realize that for the last 6 months you haven't really done an awful lot of living, which is why literally this morning I booked a last minute flight to go to Mexico on Saturday. And so, and having the ability to be able to do that, and again with the materialistic things, like no one should be shamed for having nice things. It's like what you just said about the watch really resonates with me, because I was laying in bed last night, no word of a lie, I was laying in bed and I was just looking at my watch, and my watch isn't particularly expensive. It's a diamond Rolex, but they're £5,000. It's not really like, people look at that and they think it's like a 10-15 grand watch. Okay, it was way within my means when I bought that, and actually it was an anniversary of the business launch again. But I was laying in bed looking at it last night, and I was thinking to myself, I remember the feeling of desperately thinking, one day I hope I can afford something like this. And it wasn't even the thought, and this isn't even like 5 years ago, it wasn't even the thought like, I hope I can afford a watch in the next couple of years. It's like, I hope that I can afford something like this one day. And then you just realize how much time has changed in such a small amount of time. And it motivates you so much to the next thing, not enough material goalpost, but whatever that goalpost may be. And I think when you then have that kind of association with something that you've always wanted, a new car or a new property or a new fashion item, whatever that may be to you, whether that's materialistic or not, I think it's really important to have those things to remind you of where you came from and the desire you used to have for those items.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's like, I'm into like my goal setting and like visualizing and manifesting. Like, I got into that when I was away traveling. So I really believe in it, but whatever you want, it doesn't have to be those things.
Yeah.
It could be something simple. It could be, one of the guys I hear wanted just to retire his mom. Like that was his dream, and to pay her every month. And he did that, you know what I mean? He did that at Christmas.
Yeah.
It can be anything. It's your dream after all. You're the one that's going to work for it. Like I'm not going to go out and buy a Louis bag, but I'm going to maybe upgrade my apartment a little bit, or my environment, or something like that,
Yeah, that's different for every person. It doesn't always have to be some kind of materialistic gain. And yeah, a lot of people that's family gain and helping other people in their life as well. And that's equally, if not more, way more important actually. Of course it is.
Yeah.
So just one final thing I really want to know, because you're working with your brother. Now, if me and my brother are working together, I love my brother to pieces. Me and my brother are working together full time in the business. We're going to rip each other's throat out. Probably he's going to rip my throat out before I get to rip his out because he's a bit bigger than me. So how does that work for you? How's that relationship? What's the plan for the future as well? Are you looking to expand? Because I presume as a 2-man band, you've got a roof. And so, how's that looking at the moment?
We're actually a 6-man band right now.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, we got a videographer back in Belfast full time who's running everything whilst I'm over here. He's our media manager. And we've got a team of media buyers who are handling other things, and we've also got a VA who is basically my right hand man when there's tasks that need to be done that are monotonous, or he does them. But to go to the question, me and Jack, like we work together really well. Like he knows what he's doing. He just goes and does his thing. I do my thing. Back home in our office, like we sit across from each other. We have good routine. We're always in the office at 9. We know what we're kind of working on. We know where we left off yesterday. And his role, like you could say he's really the guy running the business. Like he puts out the fires. He's an operations manager. If it gets to me, then it's probably a bit more of a problem, or it's something that we actually need to act on, but really I'm the strategy guy at the minute. I'm directing the ship. We've done loads of cool things this year. I've got such serious plans for 2021, and I'm sort of directing that. And I'm also taking all the sales calls. I love doing sales calls. It's like a game for me. So I'm teeing up new clients. I'm teeing up new business. I'm directing Lifelike Media. Jack's operating the business. Our media buyers are executing on the ads. My media managers executing on the videos. And between us, we just have a real tight ship.
Nice, love that. So scaling isn't going to be an issue for you. You've already got all that sorted. They got the team nailed down.
Yeah, that's it. It was towards the end of last year from August when we really realized this is a 6-figure agency now. We need to start operating like one. We brought in the VAs, we brought in all the pieces, and we just started to finesse that. And then just before the new year, we looked at what's 2021 going to look like. What's my position? Really, all I want to be doing is taking sales calls every day.
Yep.
Get them onboarded. The team handles the onboarding, and anything else I do is just going to be like cool, fun things that we want to build.
It sounds like you've got the same setup as me. Like you're doing pretty much the exact same thing as me. If it comes to my desk, it's an issue unless it's strategy because I want to do it, and sales calls as well because I enjoy doing sales. So. Well,
that's it. Like we learn from you. Do you know what I mean? Like you're a few steps ahead of where I want to be right now. So I'm kind of it's a natural progression in agency life. But it's great. Like I wouldn't change any of it. Right,
that's amazing. You've done such a good job, and I think there's a lot of people who watch this interview and they'll think, okay, it's all well and good. Paul got lucky. Paul was fortunate enough. Paul's had good experiences. What would you say to someone who's just starting out, maybe they've already been going at their agency for a year or so. They're struggling to get new clients. They kind of hit a bit of a brick wall. Someone in that position, which to be fair, you've been in yourself when you lost your clients, but you certainly did not do what 99% of people would do and give up at that point and move on to drop shipping, although you said you explored it. But what would you say to that person who's maybe struggling right now?
I'd say there's a few things. Like, consistency is unbelievably undervalued. Like, there's a meme, people probably seen it, where the guy's digging for the gold and like he pulls away just one step. Like, the next sale could be the next call. It's just about continuously growing and going and going. And every single rejection, you learn something. You learn maybe, oh, my tone was wrong, or I said something wrong, but you get more comfortable. And every single call, or every single email, every single DM, you get a little bit closer to success. So it basically comes down to like, how badly do you want it? Is this your dream? Is this your goal? Have you mapped it out the way you want to? And if so, like, what are you prepared to give up? Are you prepared to wake up early before everyone, get a few books in? Like, reading a chapter before anyone wakes up has been massive for me and my growth. Taking a little bit of time to think before you jump into your phone and react to the day. And yeah, like, I think there was a quote from Napoleon Hill, and he talks about like, growth. Obviously I'm paraphrasing, but the growth only comes through struggle. So you need those setbacks and those failures. So if you are experiencing that right now, then that's probably means you're on the right path. Like, if you're getting hit back, you are growing. Yeah. So just continually hit it. And you've, like, most people have heard that and they're like, oh no, but it doesn't, it's different for me. Like, you just don't get it. But like, trust me, there's people way worse than you, like with less resources than you, and probably not as clued in or not as driven, and they're successful. So you definitely can do it.
I couldn't agree more. There's such good advice. Consistency and resilience is everything. Sometimes people come to me and I'll say, look, Jordan, I've been going at this for a long time. I've hit my head against a brick wall. And I'll be like, how many people you outreach? And they'll be like, I don't know, 150 people, which sometimes to some people, like 150 people, some people sign their first client in 20 outreaches. Some people sign their first client in 300 outreaches. 150 people is not enough consistency for you to say things aren't working for me. Like, that's like 2 weeks of outreach, probably, if you're hitting that many touch points. But what you need to do, if anyone watching this is shy of outreach, which you shouldn't be, you need to be confident on that. And I'm sure Paul did outreach before he kind of lost those clients. He could then leverage that reputation or the results that he already had on and provide value and get inbound clients. But away from that, even if you're just starting off right now and you are a little bit shy on outreach, obviously still be doing it. But at the same time, Paul is testament to the fact that you don't need a big brand to be providing enough value to people for someone to want to contact you and want to work with your agency. Join Facebook groups, make sure you engage with other business owners, provide value and ask for nothing in return. Don't have any kind of pitch, let them come to you and then pitch your services on them. So over deliver on every single step of the way and business will come to you. Just give good energy into your local vicinity, into your hemisphere, and that energy will come back to you. I'm a very strong believer in that. And be consistent with your outreach numbers absolutely all of the time.
Yeah, 100%. And if I can even give one like micro tip that worked for me, actually, I send videos on my phone, like just like this, like selfies, and it's so personal, and I'm calling them by name, and I've researched the brand. So it's not, I'm obviously not able to send 150 of those because if it's higher quality, it's usually lower quantity, but I think that my high quality outreach is much better. I have a VA who does the sort of mass, and yeah, we get a few hits on that, but whenever I decide to do it and I build it and do a bit of research and I send them a video, it hits so like 70% of the time. Do you know what I mean? And even if you're getting that conversation and maybe it's not right for them now, but they're following you and they see you, you're going to get them eventually. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Amazing. Mate, this has been a juicy interview. We could charge for this bad boy. So thank you so much for doing this. And if people want to find out about you, are you happy people reaching out? They want to follow your journey, follow your agency? If so, where would be the best place for them to do so? And I'll put some links in the description. Yeah, absolutely. So our agency is at Lifelike Media on Instagram, and that's where we're putting out those value that we were speaking on. You'll see all the videos that I was doing. You can completely go mimic them. They've been working for us.
And then my personal journey is, you can put the links, paul.belfast, my Instagram. That's where I'm just, showing about the work we do, what we do with our team, a little bit of inspiration. We're out here, we train in Spain every day. Like it's a good life, and it's what we're doing. And I'm absolutely open. Anyone has a question, please send it my way. My thing is I want to give, if you ask me a question, I want to give you my best answer every time. So, because that seems to be working for me to date. So by all means.
Love it, mate. Amazing. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Paul. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm sure we'll have a check-in with Paul on the hub. We've started doing catch-up textual-based interviews after these kind of member calls or whatever, about 6 months or 12 months on. So we'll definitely do a check-in one in the future so everyone can see how you're getting on. And yeah, please do share this with someone else who get value from it. It's the first ever video you've seen of mine. Make sure you subscribe with your notification bell turned on, and we'll be back again very, very soon. Cheers, guys.
Awesome, Jordan. Cheers.